You're listening to the Rebel Scum podcast.
You are always scum. Rebel Scum.
From odds making to list rankings, we've got you covered. And don't forget to join us on Patreon for early access and exclusive content. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
James.
Yes.
Have you ever seen... I don't even know if this is a common recurrence, but I saw something on Instagram where it was like a Boba Fett action figure and they had made some kind of like throne or something.
Okay.
And he's sitting on it and poses up, but in the background, like, it's really cool. This person made a whole elaborate little set for this Boba Fett action figure. I don't know if it was like a black... It was really posable, so it's probably like one of those really expensive ones. It looked good. But on the back behind this throne is like the heads of like creatures he's supposed to have like hunted, like Boba Fett. But it's funny because it's like they're supposed to be like animals, but then there's like a Trandoshan. I think there's like a Rhodian, and it's just like I had a moment where I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's cool, and I'm like, wait a second, that's messed up. That's basically he murdered someone. I know yeah. He murdered someone, decapitated them, and then put them on the wall. And I was just like, that's really messed up.
I gotta give it, because you mentioned like Rhodian and stuff. Trandoshan. There's a Mandalorian Walgreens exclusive Funko Pop of the Trandoshan.
Oh, really?
And
yes.
2Med2 picked it up at Walgreens. And he asked if either one of us want it.
Nice.
And I said yes. And then I said, but we have to figure out the shipping. And he told me, and I'll tell you off camera, but it was definitely more than the Funko Pop.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's speaking of Funko Pops, there's I think a 10-inch Mandalorian coming out with Baby Yoda. I'm like, ooh.
That's happening. I just got Baby Yoda Black Series.
Yeah, you sent me that picture.
I forgot it downstairs, but it's the same size as the Porg Black Series, which I also can't find, and it's so tiny.
Yeah,
and it's just like I get it, but I'm also like, okay, whatever. It's so tiny. I got it for a decent price, but like regular price, for me, it's ridiculous for the size of it. It's just Star Wars things need to be affordable again. Is really I'm gonna start a GoFundMe for making Star Wars figures.
Yeah, like it's no different for having the C-3PO Rise of Skywalker C-3PO with Babu Frick included, right? Because it's just like you wouldn't just buy the Babu Frick. I mean, everyone would. I mean, I'm sure collectors would buy a separate if they had to, but like, you know what I mean?
If they made Babu Frick though, like a decent, like a real size, like a playable size, then it would be different. But yeah, I think like obviously Baby Yoda, the child, couldn't have come out Triple Force Friday, obviously, because that would have ruined the surprise and whatever. But there's no reason why they can't come out with a Black Series Mando right now and have Baby Yoda. They should have a 3-pack. Mando, Cara Dune, Baby Yoda sipping tea. That should be the 3-pack. I would actually spend the money to get that.
One way I could see them selling Baby Yoda by itself is if it's a Baby Yoda that goes in that like floating pram.
Oh, they have that. I think. I think it's like they have a big one, but there's the Baby Yoda that's like whatever, and it's like $80. And I said, I can't do that. I can't do it. We're in a pandemic. Slowly getting out of the pandemic, though.
Murder and miniatures, all these topics and more on the Rebel Scum podcast. I'm Brock.
I'm James.
For the 171st
second
time?
Second.
Okay.
We've lost count. We should just stop numbering these. Are you okay? Should we just stop numbering them? It's good. We're at the point where I'm like, I'm tired of the numbers.
We'll take the Marvel stance and we'll start renumbering it because people get weirded out when they can't start at number 1. So
next week we'll be number 1 again.
This is a Rebel Scum reboot.
It's not us, it's Andrew and Rob hosting now going forward. What happened, bro?
Robin, Robin Andrew in the morning.
Oh, Rob, we gotta give shout outs to executive producer Heidi Feder. It was her birthday a couple days ago.
Happy
The
birthday.
day after Andrew Fantasia's. It was also Aaron Quinton's birthday a little while ago as well.
Nice.
So everyone's celebrating
Happy
birthdays. Yeah, happy birthday. We hope you didn't go too far out. But, patios in Ontario are open today. Not in Toronto, but everywhere else today. Patios apparently are open. I joked about going to one, but I think I'll just stick with my deck for now. Not because I'm scared, because the drinks are cheaper.
Yeah.
Really, I'm not going with anybody anyway, so.
I've definitay mastered the Caesar. I've been making them out.
Yeah,
it's just like booyah.
That's your go-to. I have mastered. Is it San Pellegrino has this sparkling water, not the pop, but it's sparkling water, 0 calories, 0 sugar, and it's just like natural water, carbonated water with like natural flavors in it, and you can get like lemon, tangerine, blood orange, stuff like that. And I buy the case of that, put it in on ice with some vodka.
Yeah.
The best. And I feel like I'm actually doing my body good. That's been my goal. Because I'll have a beer and I'm like, oh, my belly is starting to look like a real, like the dad bod is in full effect from the beer. So I've gone to this drink and I got to tell you, Brock, pretty good. And we know what? If you don't have the vodka, still amazing.
Yeah, we should start being hipsters and try to get some White Claw.
What?
Have you not heard of White Claw? It's like a spritzer. I believe it's vodka. I don't think it. I think it's just like a spiked spritzer, and it's
White
like
Claw.
it was like the LaCroix or LaCroix. I was saying it the proper way. LaCroix. Or LaCroix is just
White Claw.
carbonated
That's
water.
what
White Claw.
I've seen this ad a lot, and I'm just like, you look stupid.
I was in Ontario with Reham 10 years ago when we could go to the States, and they had it there, and I was tempted to get it. I'm like, you don't drink these normally, but they were there. I was like, wow.
Yeah, so that's basically what I make myself.
Yeah, pretty
well.
But
I think mine's healthy. I've bought a bunch of them. I have never bought White Claw. I bought one called Tailspin.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible. But no, I shouldn't say that. Very good, very good. Here's the thing, though. The reason why I like what I'm making, and I don't know why we're talking about this, but I also just put carbonated water on ice with like some lime juice in it. I don't like the sweet drinks. And these ones, I don't know what White Claw, but these ones I find are sweet. They're just not made. They're not made for me. But I can see why people would really like them. And you don't taste alcohol at all. But it's just refreshing. Anyway, are you going to go to Disney in July 17th? Have you already left to go?
If I was in Orlando or Anaheim, I probably would do it. But I'm not. So I started following it. Finally, this is Reham's effect on me. I started following this guy, Prince Charming Dev. He's like a Disney blogger, and he's been going to all the parks that are open and stuff. And he was at SeaWorld yesterday, and it's like his stuff is cool, and I'm like, I want to be there. I want to be where the people are.
That's not where the people are. I wonder if Wonderland will open at all. Canada's Wonderland.
That's a good question.
And look, and in fairness, though, Ontario, Canada is way better off in terms of Corona than anywhere a Disney or Universal Studios is located.
Oh, sure. The problem is, I think, and disagree with me if you want.
I do.
The problem is it's summertime and people want to do stuff. I mean, you can already see it. You probably don't see it out in the woods because you are isolated, but like.
Oh, no, I see it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. You go. What am I saying? You went into work the other day, right?
Yeah.
It's
and
just
also,
like there's more.
Close to me is cottage country too.
Oh,
and
that's
you
true. Yeah,
see
you're
it.
right. You're saying that.
Yeah. Sorry.
But people are out doing like there's more people outside because they're like there's nothing to do. So like the problem with opening Wonderland, as much as like I think it would be great if they did, people will just be like, we need to go now. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
yeah. And you know what? With Wonderland, I don't trust them like I trust Disney and Universal, because we've been to all of those, and the efficiency of the American ones is top notch. Wonderland is like, just get in there and you'll stand in line, and you're like, you get heat stroke because there's no cover. Like, it's just a complete different. And I just think they're run. No offense to Wonderland, I love you, but
no,
I just don't think we have it. But I mean, Ontario cases were down to just over 100 or just under 200 today.
Yeah,
like it's that makes me happy, and I'm glad that people get to go back to work now. And
like it's like, you know, we got to take it step by step. Ooh, James. But you know, I think maybe Wonderland could take a cue from Disney. I think you have to book ahead of time.
I think it's
to
online.
Get into the park.
Yeah, and then you're wearing a mask. They're checking your temperature, all that stuff, and you know, I'm sure. You know, the other thing too is I bet you that if you're on a ride, the ride comes in, and then they have like a team of their employees going and then wiping. Right. So
at
the
Disney,
good news
that'd
is
be so much more controllable, right?
Yeah, and I'll bet you. So the good news is people are getting their jobs back, and they'll probably have to hire even more to do that. Now those will probably be they'll probably have to fall under some kind of temporary job, but I mean, for some people, a job's a job, and so we'll see. Crazy times.
Yeah, but we're getting there, you know? We're trying our best.
I think we all deserve a nice real vacation. Every vacation should be free for everybody for 1 week. We should all get rewarded with one free vacation. That's how it should
That
work.
sounds like a logistic nightmare.
Or all at the exact same time. It will be nice to see the world a little bit, but I was looking at the numbers. Although I will say again, I love the United States, but their numbers are not. It's scary down there, man. Like those numbers, it's like scary. They went really high, dropped a little bit, and now it's like leveled off at high numbers. Now, the other thing I argue too is because British Columbia here in Canada has like no cases, and I'm like, British Columbia, the entirety of British Columbia is Toronto. Like, let's. Like there's a little bit more. Like you gotta look at it as it is per capita, and America has way more than us, obviously. So, but I think Toronto is the most Ontario, but it's mostly Toronto. Obviously, it's very positive. I think because as many cases as there are new cases, they were saying things could start opening under 200, and now it's steadily under 200 and dropping.
Yeah, so hooray for haircuts. I don't have to cut my hair anymore.
Do you have to go out of town, though?
Well, no, I'll wait.
Like, where are you going for your haircut? 4 hours away. They're open. Let's go. Anyway, speaking of dropping, Broom Boy.
I need a Broom Boy.
How's that for a segue? Broom Boy, I don't know is the actor's name, I'm sorry, was on something on a YouTube channel. And he talked about playing Broom Boy. And now we thought that maybe he would be on in episode 9. And I don't know, I feel like when I saw The Last Jedi, I never thought that we would ever get a future with Broom Boy. I thought he was just like a metaphor for the galaxy and to show us like the optimism that Luke's kind of inspired. But throughout, what were your feelings on the Broom Boy? Were you disappointed when he wasn't the lead in episode 9?
I appreciate you bringing this up, and though we didn't sweep it under the rug. You know what? I was just amazed that they did this interview with this kid because I don't know, he's like 10, 11, 12 maybe, and he's having like his answer was like, oh, that's very adult sounding. So I don't know, maybe he's 15 or 16 now. But you know, Yeah, I think anybody wants to continue being
Oh.
continue working, but continue to be in a Star Wars movie.
Oh, on his point of view, 100%. I'd be like, I would have been like calling Trevorrow endlessly, and then when he got fired, I'd be like, yo, JJ, my favorite movie, Super 8. Second favorite movie, Mission Impossible 3. Third favorite movie, Star Trek. And just like list all those things. My favorite show, Alias. You know what I love? I model my hair after Felicity, and you just go down like a list of JJ things.
I love Regarding Henry. You did a great script. No, but like, I know it's confusing because like Star Wars, every character has a name. Oh, and they make a video or an action figure of everything. But Broom Boy is more of a symbol than an actual character, right? Like,
yeah,
it was sort of like at the end of that movie, it's like, oh, that's inspiring. It's like, this is not the end. And like thinking about it now, it's just like, wow, I really wish they would give Rian Johnson another movie, and they are, or well, who knows? It's just like, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just like he had some really interesting thoughts on the Star Wars galaxy, and then just comes to a halt, and that's fine because JJ has a different view of it.
Well, I think I don't know how to word this properly. Rian Johnson had a lot of thoughts in Star Wars that I think were a lot of good thoughts, but for a lot of people misplaced.
Yeah, sure.
And if you didn't find it misplaced, that's fine. I'm not here to debate any of that. But I think for a lot of people it was misplaced, and I think if he would have used those thoughts in a wholly original idea for Star Wars, like clearly he was planning to, it would be a lot better received than it was in The Last Jedi by the fan base, and that's based on fan ratings online. But you know, because and it's. And J.J. Abrams, I think he has a lot of thoughts about Star Wars, and his thoughts, I think, for both Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker, maybe they would have been utilized better I think people are more supportive of the Force Awakens and what he did there because that movie kind of took our characters. It kept Han Solo, whereas Luke Skywalker, you could argue what Rian Johnson did with Luke Skywalker because it's not the same Luke Skywalker's Return of the Jedi. Like, no matter what you say, he's a different person by that point. And people change anyway. So whatever. That's, again, it's not an argument. And what I'm saying is the Han Solo, they basically made Han Solo. It was the same guy you saw in Return of the Jedi was in The Force Awakens. But I think a lot of what he was doing and the fun he had was we were kind of on board with it because of Rey and Finn and Kylo. It was new characters, and the focus was more on those new characters. Sure, Han was there, but Han, he was supporting the new characters, whereas Last Jedi comes and it's all about Luke. And if you're not on board, and I said this after we first saw it, the moment Luke, I think, had the moment Luke tossing the lightsaber been executed differently, I think more people would have been on board with Luke. But I think because he did it in that comedic over the shoulder and then the music just abruptly stops and he storms out, I think honestly that subconsciously irks a lot of people more. Like, it just throws you off because you've spent all that time like, what's gonna happen with Luke and the saber, and then it's Looney Tunes over the shoulder storming off, and then all of a sudden your perception of Luke just is like, well, that's not my Luke right away. Like, Luke wouldn't do it, and now he's got to win you back. And I think that ending is great, but I don't think it's as powerful as it would have been. More powerful had he defeated somebody, not just been a distraction. And I know there's some symbolism and blah, 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 but I think it's Star Wars, and the 4-year-old kid doesn't care, but people look at it for that. And I think for both of them had a lot of good, but with the Rise of Skywalker, obviously you're following Rian Johnson, so then the stuff he did in The Force Awakens doesn't work in Rise of Skywalker. Like, it's just a weird thing where they were they both had really cool ideas, but they might not have been the Skywalker saga ideas. Does that make sense? That was long-winded. We have no more time.
No. No, I get what you mean. It's just
it's not, and I'm not saying you have to. I'm not. It's not. I agree with me or not. It's just. It's just a viewpoint.
It's interesting that you bring up like how Rian Johnson handles Luke at the beginning of that movie. I agree. Like it is very kind of comedic. So maybe that's a little jarring for people in general with Star Wars. I feel like the newer the Disney Star Wars are a lot funnier than any of the other Star Wars movies. Like Han is a jokey guy, but like I find like Han in Force Awakens makes more jokes than I think at least the original trilogy.
I think Force Awakens has the two best jokes. Well, 3PO kind of crushes it in Rise.
Right.
But that's not how
I'm including them all together.
But that's not how the Force works. Is hilarious.
Yeah.
And
you're cold.
Yeah, that
I like this.
But
I like this thing.
But those are and this is what I'm saying. Like that is a Han Solo joke. Whereas Luke's Luke's never been funny.
No.
I also don't like the giant fish that he carries. I don't like not that like the over the shoulder. I understand the over the shoulder. I just think it. I don't know. I think that throws people off.
Also, he's trying to make Luke more like a Yoda character. If you're mimicking Empire Strikes Back, which
it is.
Unfortunately, we kind of are.
But it is though. It's reverse Empire Strikes Back, and for better or worse. And Force Awakens is obviously A New Hope. We don't have to argue that. And Rise of Skywalker is Indiana Jones or something. I'm not really sure, but
it's funny that you bring that up because I sent you that picture of some like artist like idea on Instagram where it's Luke in the black Return of the Jedi getup and Leia with what we assume is a young Ben Solo baby, and then Ahsoka showing them a recording of Anakin Skywalker. And I said to you, it's like, oh, this what could have been, and I realized like this could actually happen.
It still could.
It makes me reflect because it's like the problem we having with Last Jedi, man, we really strayed from Broom Boy, but like we don't know Luke's state of mind, right? All we know is something happened and he's removed himself from his family. So it's sort of like, it would be interesting if it's like, maybe they do meet Ahsoka and that's how he learns a lot. I mean, we also know that there's a lot of talk of Luke going to find Jedi artifacts and learning the history of the Jedi Order or just the Force in general. I think like that would be really, I just make an animated thing on it. It would be really, really cool.
But you bring up,
Ahsoka.
I think you bring up one of the problems of the sequel trilogy as a whole. I don't like saying problems as a sequel trilogy, but like, so, okay. Yeah. So we go original trilogy, prequels, sequels. So let's put them in order. Prequels, original, sequels. You have the prequels and they tell us the story of Anakin, then he falls to the dark side and Obi-Wan, blah, blah. Then there's a gap, right? What happens in the gap doesn't like the original trilogy doesn't depend on that gap based on having the prequel trilogy. What happens in that gap is inconsequential to the plot line of the original trilogy. You could fill it up and whatever, that's great, but you don't need any information there. The sequel trilogy comes, and this is proven in The Last Jedi. There's a gap, but the difference is we depend on information in that gap now. Because that ends, all of a sudden Kylo's a bad guy. Because in the original, we see the bad guy turn into the bad guy. We see the Emperor become the Emperor. And in the original, we're like, oh, the son's going to follow in his father's footsteps, in the third movie. But like now, all of a sudden, it's like, well, what happened? Because last time I saw you, everything was all hunky dory. And then The Last Jedi is like, well, because you don't know, we'll go back in flashbacks and tell you, kind of, but we're going to hide as much as we can because of secrets. And they never fill in the gaps properly. I guess I shouldn't use the word properly, but they never fill in those gaps. It's left to imagination, which is nice, but nobody knows how to use that anymore. Or expanded universe stuff, which half people aren't going to read and the other half are going to take way too seriously. So I think that's one of the things with the sequel trilogy is they didn't, when they went into it, I don't feel like they planned out what happened in that 30-year gap between.
Yeah, you know what? It's tricky too in Last Jedi because it's like Force Awakens works pretty well because Luke or Leia and Han, as much as they're important in that story, they're not the main focus. And in a sense, I mean, this is going out left field. In a sense, they're kind of supporting characters in the original movie, even though we love these characters and they're very fleshed out. It's the Skywalker saga where we want to know about Luke Skywalker from the get. So when you introduce Luke Skywalker back into the equation, which is what everyone has been dying for in the last 40 years, like what happens next? And that's what you're given. You're kind of like, ugh.
That's the thing. So it's I understand a lot of people that liked it, but I also understand the people that were let down by it. Mm-hmm. I was only let down by it because that was your first guess on what Luke would be. Like 2 years before the movie came out, you're like, I bet he'll be crazy like Yoda. And I was like, oh, yeah. That's all they did. That's why I was disappointed. I'm like, Brock had to open his mouth. I just feel like, couldn't they come up with a more original way to handle him in this situation?
I don't know.
No offense to you. I'm not offending you. I'm just saying, like, if you're able to predict it, that means, you know.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. I enjoy Luke in Last Jedi because it's just like there's a distant franchise, but we don't get to see that. And I think I would like to know more because I don't know. I think Rian Johnson had some interesting ideas going down. I think it wasn't a matter of like, okay, let's continue the story. It's like, okay, let's create a type of Star Wars that now exists after the original. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of,
and that's why
I do the same movie over and over again. I don't know.
No, I totally 100% agree with you, and I think that's why. I know he turned down 9, but I almost feel like that was like a cowardly move on his part because he did so much to kind of say we're going this way, and then he's like, yeah, but somebody else is gonna have to worry about that. And my problem with pretty much the entire sequel trilogy is there's no consequence to any action that the writers make. Like it's like we're gonna do it. Why? Because, and they keep doing it, and then it's somebody else, and it keeps falling on somebody else's shoulders. And then Rise of Skywalker comes and it's like, well, Palpatine's back. Because the easiest answer or the most satisfying for fans is Palpatine's back. And it's like it's that once you do that, it's like, oh, Snoke was a clone. Okay, well that answers that. And this that answers. Like all of a sudden, like every answer is Palpatine. How did Palpatine get back? The dark side. But you're like, all right, I guess. And that's my one. That's the other thing. Is like, okay, Rian Johnson, you did it. Give me now follow through because I honestly, Colin Trevorrow's script, whatever. I would love. You know, we always want this book on how the sequel trilogy happened, but I would love the book on, Rian Johnson in his mind had some idea where his story was leading to. Yeah. I want that because I think we got something close to what J.J. Abrams had envisioned when he started The Force Awakens. Yeah. Now, Rian Johnson, you tell me where you were going because I want to know. And I think he has an idea. Mm-hmm. And I think he's a hell of a storyteller and I would like to see more, but, where were you going, RJ?
So yeah, Broom Boy, get out of here.
Broom Boy was fine. Like he's perfect for what he is.
Yeah.
The end. Anyway, you talked about Ahsoka. Whew, I'm out of breath. Ahsoka is going to be in The Mandalorian season 2.
Mm-hmm. Is there new news on that?
I believe Star Wars Newsnet is saying that when we first meet her, she'll be in her gray hoodie robe that we see her in at the end of Clone Wars, not the white that she wears in the end of Rebels.
Okay.
And apparently she's gonna have a blue lightsaber. They don't know if she'll have 2. They suspect she'll have 2, but apparently they do know more spoily stuff, but they didn't want to put it in the article. Shout out to them for not doing that because I'm okay with not knowing everything that happens. yeah, so that's what they're saying, and she does have a lightsaber fight. Her role is it's bigger than a cameo, but still small. They likened it to Luke at the end of Last Jedi, oddly enough, which is, by the way, a beautifully shot sequence.
Oh yeah, Crate is just a piece of art. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm down with that. The one thing that's good about this quarantine, I think a lot more people have watched The Mandalorian now. Because I start having conversations with people I've never talked about with Mandalorian. So it's interesting. It's like that show came out in November of last year. So it's just yeah, I think a lot more people, and they're like, when can we get more? I'm like, October. They're like, it should be sooner. I'm like, the whole structure of how television works is that typically, I know it changed, is really different now, but it's like, if they premiered in October, the next season will be in the following October. But
just, I mean, they have to shoot it and then edit it.
Yeah, exactly.
It is what it is. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, they also speculate, what we've been speculating is that Disney will test the waters of Ahsoka and see if they can spin her off into her own series, which
Speaking of Ryan Johnson news,
my
wonderful girlfriend Reham just texted me. Knives Out is now on Prime.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, you know what movie looks great on Prime? Not great, but really fun. And I'm bringing this up because I watched this movie called Extraction with Thor, and it's produced by the Russo brothers. They produced another movie that it looks better than Extraction. It's called 21 Bridges. And it stars Black Panther and J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah. I think it looks better. So it's on Amazon Prime. That's why you brought that up. It's on Amazon Prime. I'm going to watch it because they shut down all 21 bridges from Manhattan and they can't let anybody out.
Is there really that many bridges to Manhattan?
Well, Manhattan's an island.
No, I understand. But I thought it was just
the movie would never lie.
Yeah, why not? You probably have smaller ones, right?
Look, I don't live there, so all you Manhattan. I think it's 21 sounds right. You got the Brooklyn Bridge.
They, Brooklyn, George Washington,
JFK, Newark. I'm just gonna name
Bridge
airports.
to Terabithia.
Yeah.
Starbridge,
Golden Gate, Lions Gate. I've been on both of those bridges.
Lloyd Bridges.
Jeff
Bridges.
Bridges.
Jeff Bridges. I was like, which one's the most famous one?
I wonder who. Well, Jeff Bridges now. Lloyd Bridges was a comedic genius.
Mm-hmm.
Remember him on Seinfeld? Hot shots.
Mandelbaum, man. My roommate Joe's been rewatching Seinfeld, so I'll walk into the family room. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, and then he says this, and then it's like, oh man, Seinfeld's so good.
I'm watching on the Facebook video thing. I'll just hit something, and then it takes me there, and the next video is Seinfeld. I'm like, oh, that's funny.
Oh yeah.
Or Jerry Stiller on King of Queens. Still don't know if it's better than According to Jim, though. His brother-in-law, Andy,
is on the new show Space Force.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that show.
Yeah.
Is it good? Because I haven't heard anybody talk about it.
Yeah, I like it. It's not exactly The Office, but I still like it.
I haven't.
Greg Daniels been putting out good stuff. That and Upload.
I haven't seen Upload, but I'm curious on Upload. I watched.
Upload's worth it.
I want to watch. We just finished Defending Jacob, which ended similar to the book, and there's one on Apple Plus called The Banker. I want to watch with the Falcon and Samuel L. Jackson. That one looks really good, and Tom Hanks has a movie premiering on it too. I was like, oh, what's happening? It's like the entertainment world was ready for COVID. They're like, streaming, everything is going to premiere on streaming. It's like, oh. Okay.
Before we started, I was watching King of Staten Island because it just came out today. The Judd Apatow, Pete.
Did you pay for it?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was wondering because they sent an email and they're like, watch now. And they sent all these things. And I clicked on one and... Huh?
Really? Like watch for free?
Well, I clicked on it and it said, you have to change your country. And I was like, what? And that was Amazon. That was Amazon. So I I think I would imagine you have to pay because it's a premiere, but it didn't mention that in the email they sent. So I was like, oh, is it just streaming for free? I didn't think so. That's why I asked.
I bought it on Google Play. It was a little pricier because it was only in 4K, but I was like, whatever. I just want to watch this movie, and I think it's pretty good so far. I like it.
You didn't rent it? You bought it?
No, I rented it.
Oh, okay.
You can only rent it right now.
It's like $6.99.
Yeah, so.
That's fine. You're supporting.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
If it was in theaters, I probably would have paid $15. What's a movie ticket? I can't remember anymore.
They're all different. I'm with you. Like I bought Invisible Man when it was for sale. I was like, well, I was going to see it in the theater, and this is cheaper than I would have paid for 2 tickets in the theater. So I just thought I bought it. I also bought Indiana Jones, all 4 of them.
Nice. Dunkirk
and Sonic the Hedgehog. I didn't buy Birds of Prey though. I haven't seen it. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Watch it when it's on Netflix.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Or whatever. Yeah.
But Dunkirk was cheap, so I was like, I got to buy this, and I bought it. I'm like, this movie is so beautiful. And Sonic the Hedgehog is just great. Although the bloopers suck. No offense to Jim Carrey or James Marsden, but their bloopers are probably a lot funnier in person than on the extras feature. Yeah, I was just like, that was my reaction. I was like, the movie's a lot funnier than the bloopers, which is normally not the case. All right, never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds, James.
Today's odds are brought to us by Patreon.
Patreon, the wonderful people that think we're great. Patreon, please support us. We work hard, I think. Do we work hard, James? I think we try our best.
Moderately. Moderately.
Our patrons who think we're so great and we appreciate their support are Heidi Feder, happy birthday, Al Schuler, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Staniforth, Janet Rubio, Rachel Alford, Austin Scher, Scott D, Andy Higgins, Josh Price, Mason Hope,
Matt W, Rez, Rural Farm Boy, Frank Perkins, Sooner Thrawn, Neil Lowry, D Raven Spencer, Gleek Play 1. I got it. Clear my throat. Caitlin, I don't want to cough because people get nervous. Caitlin Davis, Automated Joy, Disney Desi, Charlotte, Aaron Quinton, Jericho, Kane, aka Han Solo, Girls with Sabers, and Den of Nerds.
Den of Nerds.
He is a nerd in a den. Actually, I don't even believe he's in a den anymore. I think it's his bedroom.
What are the odds today, Mr. James?
The odds that Josh from the Den of Nerds is actually in a den. The odds
He's
of
in a den?
and the odds of Ahmed Best portraying a new Star Wars character in an upcoming series.
What
do we got? What do we got?
I'm gonna
Your face
go
is frozen.
70%.
Your face froze like this.
My face is frozen, but I am dancing in real life.
What was that? 70%?
I'm back. I'm gonna go 75%. I think people are gonna be very, very happy with this Jedi Temple challenge, and just throw. You don't even have to make a new character. Just make him be that character, and he just walks to the background or something like that.
Oh yeah, because I guess he's canon. I'm gonna go 67%. I want him to come back. I'm a huge Jar Jar fan anyway, so I'd actually prefer him to come back as Jar Jar, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So I'd look. Jar Jar and Cassian would be great. If I know Jar Jar has an ending in the he's in the Aftermath trilogy, and he kind of see that. But I think I would prefer him. I prefer to see him get some kind of redemption in a show. Frankly, next odd, the odds of Jabba appearing on the Cassian Andor show.
This might surprise you, James. I'm gonna go like 30%. Even though it's such an easy ad because it's just like throw Jabba in something, but I kind of think like it shouldn't be in. I think it should be more kept for like an underworld Han Solo series, please make Han Solo, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in casting. I'm going to go 21%.
Yeah.
I also think they're afraid. They might be a little nervous to make that puppet again. Because you've got to make the puppet, and then you've got. Although I think from the Mandalorian, when you hear them talk about the blurgs, I think they're learning a lot. Like that's gonna help them, get their cojones back. And our final one, I'm going to change it a little bit from what I sent you. The odds of Kira appearing on the Obi-Wan Kenobi show with her connection to Darth Maul and all.
No, I think that's a good move. I'm going to go 85%. She could be some way of relaying information that Maul is still around. And not that it is a huge secret to Obi-Wan, but like maybe they can twist it in some way that relates back to the scene in Rebels. So it's like, ooh.
I'm going to go 43%.
Nice.
I would like it, but I don't think their stories intertwine. At least not that late into the game. All right, Hollow News.
Hollow News. There's not a lot of news, but let's do it.
But it's the news that you knew you needed.
Okay.
Hollow News. Hollow News. Hollow News.
This was brought to my attention by James because he sent me the cover art. They are releasing, finally, from a certain point of view, Empire Strikes Back. So if you read A Certain Point of View, A New Hope, this was a retelling of different characters that you see in the movies and what they're doing, why they're there. Obviously, in A New Hope, there's a lot of stuff with the cantina. But in Empire Strikes Back, who knows? Maybe we'll get to see a certain point of view from a Wampa, or perhaps the Tauntaun that sacrifices itself for Luke's survival. Or I don't know, maybe we'll get a really, really cool Yoda story because we got a really good one in the first one, Fantastico. But anyways, it is going to come out on November 10th, I believe. But what they're doing, a fun thing what they're doing, that all participating authors have generously forgone any compensation for their stories. Instead, their proceeds will be donated to First Book, a leading nonprofit that provides new books, learning materials, and other essentials to educators and organizations serving children in need. To further celebrate the launch of this book and both companies' long-standing relation with First Book, Penguin Random House will donate $100,000 to First Book, and Disney Lucasfilm will donate another $100,000 children's books valued at $1 million. Yes, I'm always bad at reading numbers. Valued at $1 million to support First Book and their mission of providing equal access to quality education. So the book will be out for purchase November 10th. So you'll have to wait a little bit longer, but there will be a sneak peek of some of the authors participating and on StarWars.com on Monday, June 16, next week. Check it out just to see what's going on. Maybe there'll be some excerpts, but that's really fun, and I'm excited for that book. And our last piece of news, it's finally here. Jedi Temple Challenge is on YouTube. It came out this week. Episode 1 and 2 are out. Fantastically done. Ahmed Best is the best. It was really, I've watched the first episode. I really enjoyed it a lot. It reminded me of the 90s Nickelodeon game shows. And the production value is really great. The kids get really psyched. There's one kid in the first episode. His name is Brayden, I believe. And he is hyped the entire episode. So for if anything, just watch it for this kid. It's on YouTube. Just search Jedi Hidden Temple. It's on the Star Wars channel. I don't know why it's not on Disney Plus, but it's great. If you have kids, they'll love it and want to be on the show. And this has been your Hollow News.
Hollow News. Hollow News. Hollow News.
Hollow News. I'll tell you news about Star Wars.
Top 5.
Top 5.
That's my new top 5 song. Don't unsubscribe. Give us a like.
Don't
Give us a
unsubscribe.
like. I'm trying to
You know you want to hear it and you want to support it.
Here is your top 5. Top 5 Jedi to appear in The Mandalorian. Maybe not season 2, maybe beyond season 2, but after Ahsoka. Ahsoka does not count, Brock.
Well, that just throws off my entire list.
My number 5, the only Jedi that should appear in anything going forward, and that is Kit Fisto.
What if it was, I don't even know, what is his race called?
Prit Fisto. Oh, he has a name. His race has a name.
Yeah, because I only can think of like the Aqualish and like the Quarians and the Mon Cala for the I was gonna say subterranean, but that's not right. The underwater creatures.
He's
underwater race.
A Nautolan.
Oh no! Yeah, I have seen that. It's supposed to be like Nautilus.
Nautolan, yeah. Nautolan. I guess. He was a renowned male Nautolan Jedi Master in the waning years of and it cuts off.
I'm gonna go Cal Kestis because he is not dead, I think.
Too easy.
It's very, very easy because the story is engaging and I'm like, ooh.
I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, I know.
I just got my droid. Actually, I haven't played anything. Number 4, again, Mace Windu. If Samuel Jackson says he's not dead and George Lucas is like, yeah, sure, then you bring him back with one eye and a purple lightsaber.
My number 4 is Ahsoka Tano. I'm putting it on there. I don't care what you say. She could very easily be alive.
I'm disappointed.
Are you?
Number 3, Yoda. Yoda.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Just put like, whoa, you are my son. I will put you in a basket. And it's like Moses, and he puts Baby Yoda down a basket down the river.
See, my list is just like, who is still alive at that time? So my number 3 is Leia. I know she's not a Jedi, but whatever.
She's a Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
True.
Kind of. No, she quits. She's a quitter because she has a son.
Premonition.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I like that.
They should just make Billy Lord play her. Why not? She kind of looks, I mean, she's her daughter, so she, of course, looks a little bit like Princess Leia.
Yeah,
just
why
do
not?
it.
Well, that kind of ties it to my number 2, Luke.
Oh, my goodness. My number 2 is Luke as well.
Wait, is your number 1 the same as my number 1?
I don't know.
Plo Koon. That's not true. My number 1 is Ezra Bridger.
Oh, you fool. You went for the wrong young Jedi. You should have gone Ben Solo. Boom.
He's not a Jedi yet. He'd still be
No. Yes. Yes, he is.
He'd be like 6. He wouldn't be taken with Luke yet.
Perfect.
No. You know what? I originally wanted Ben Solo, but now I don't. Actually, I don't really want. The only one of these that I would really want, to be honest, would be either Yoda in a flashback or Ezra, because Ezra would tie into Ahsoka, and that's it. Everyone else, I don't think we need. I don't think we need them. I don't.
Yeah.
I know all.
No, it's fine. Ben Solo comes to. Oh God, what's their planet called?
Navarro.
Navarro, thank you, Dave Navarro from.
Yep.
Jane's Addiction. No, he comes. He's on a class trip, and then he finds a broom and he starts brooming things, and he becomes the new broom boy.
Ooh, I like it. All right, this is 172 episodes of the Rebel Scum podcast. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and some other places as well. Anything else, Brock?
Stay alert, stay safe.
You're only saying that for one reason, and that's because you were always scum.
Rebel Scum.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.